Bernie Sanders cannot win the presidency. He cannot be allowed to win the presidency. And now I'm going to explain why. Bernie Sanders, there are a couple of reasons why Bernie Sanders cannot be allowed to win the presidency. He can win. His supporters do have the power to make him win. And he is creating a movement that has the possibility of winning. But he cannot be allowed to win. Now, here's the reason why. One, Bernie Sanders represents the people. That's a huge problem. Bernie Sanders cannot be bought. Think about what the ramifications are going to be if, by some miracle, the candidate that the people wanted won without taking any money from the top 1%. The symbol that will send and the political just mindfuck asteroid that would have just hit the beltway it would completely revolutionize the way everyone's idea of what it means to win politics. And it would also fundamentally change politics, because what it would mean to a lot of people, local politicians and smaller politicians running running for office, is that they no longer have to take bribes from the top 1%. It would mean that lobbyists don't have as much power as they think they do. And even more scary, it would mean that the top 1% would have a president that they cannot control. And they cannot have that. The second thing is that you also have to consider is the state of the world that we're living in right now. We're living in a really, really, really interesting time. We're living in a time where the world is being reshaped. Where the super rich are trying to redefine the very fundamental concepts of everything. So what I mean by that? The prescription drug companies, Caterpillar, all these major corporations with the TPP deal, they're trying to redefine what the whole concept of ownership is. I saw an article with GM saying that whenever you buy a GM vehicle, you're not actually purchasing the vehicle. You're basically purchasing the rights to use it. You're leasing their vehicles from them. You don't actually own the vehicle, so you're not, and they can sue you if you do something that violates. So say you take your car and you flash it to get more power or something, or you work on it, or you get it serviced on a non-GM certified person, they can sue you for that. They're trying to create that law. Textbook companies are now saying that you can't profit off of the sale of secondhand books. That's what's happening right now. The Supreme Court has 3 Supreme Court justices that are up for nomination. The next president will decide that. What's going to happen if Bernie Sanders is the one to pick those 3 Supreme Court justices? Think about that. This is why he absolutely cannot be allowed to win. Now, you might be thinking that all of these policies sound pretty good, right? The idea of no more, indefinite detention, no more breaking down private detention facilities, making that illegal. Ending all the wars overseas. So no cutting defense spending. Giving free education to people, giving free healthcare to people. All of this stuff sounds really, really good, right? But they cannot allow it to happen. That's why Bernie Sanders cannot be allowed to win. If you're a member of the top 1%, that's how you feel. But I'm not talking to you people. I'm talking to people like me. I'm talking to people like you watching this video. I'm talking to anybody out there who's ever had to pay an insurance bill, who's ever had somebody who was sick, who's ever had to pay student loan bills. I'm talking to anybody out there who's paying thousands in taxes unfairly, while the person who owns your company doesn't pay a thing. I'm talking to people out there who are going to work every day, working 40, 60 hours a week, and still have to be on food stamps. Or people who, if they get sick, they're worried because they don't have insurance. Because even though Obamacare promised insurance, it's not enough. You're the people who I'm talking about. Bernie Sanders is your candidate. Don't let them steal him away from you. Get out there, do what you have to do, and prove them wrong. It's time to step up and fight. Join the revolution. Feel the burn. Let's do this. We can win this together. They are shaking in their boots right now. They get how serious this election is. They know what's at stake. They know how much money is on the line. And Bernie Sanders is not going to destroy corporations. That's not who he is. He's not a communist. He's not going to prevent people from making money. People are still going to make money on the Sanders. A lot of people are going to make a lot of money on the Sanders. What it's going to mean is, and this is just simple terms, these numbers are of course not accurate. Whereas a company could make 300 billion on the Sanders, maybe they'll make 400. On the Sanders, they'd make 300 billion. On the somebody else, they might have made 400 or 500 or 600 billion dollars. Now, yeah, that's good for that one group of people that own that company. But what does that mean for the rest of society? If prescription drug prices go up and you cannot afford to take care of yourself when you're sick. I saw one guy that raised the price of a drug by 5,000%. The CEO of Nestle is talking about how we need to privatize water in the United States. Okay? These are the people that we're dealing with. It's going to mean more wars. More unending wars because they're very profitable. The question that you need to ask yourself is, do you want to live in that kind of society? Or do you want to live in a society where you have the chance to make it? Bernie is not promising free iPads. He's not promising anything free. Everything he's promising is paid for. And it's stuff that we should be doing because it's our moral responsibility as human beings. It's time for you to take the stance. Join the revolution and help us. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. I'm asking you right now to help us. Let's show them that we have the power, that each of our votes matters, and that each one of us matters. Vote for Bernie.